McLaren has had its worst start this season, and Lando Norris seems to have had enough with the team. Speculation has been rising about his future in Formula One, with suggestions that he could even be leaving the team. Stay tuned, as we're going to be telling you everything that's been happening at McLaren, and find out why Lando is frustrated with the team. After the 2020 season, when McLaren recorded its highest position since the beginning of the turbo hybrid era, the team has been on a steady decline. In 2020, they were third in the Constructors' Championship, and they've dropped the number with every passing year. Currently, the team sits fifth, which you'd think is not a bad place to be if you didn't know all that's been happening with the team, and, also since the season is still in its early stages. But with context, you'll see that the team is doing horribly, and their future looks pretty bleak. During the season opener in Bahrain, the team had a disastrous debut of the MCL 60. Norris was plagued with pressure leaks from the engine pneumatics, a problem that meant that he couldn't go for more than 10 laps without having a refill. The team decided to keep him in the race, and as a result, he pitted 6 times. 2 more and he would have had a new record for pit stops by a single driver in one race. Oscar Piastri had issues of his own. He suffered an electrical failure, leading to his retirement from the first race in Formula One. The team had tried to solve this issue with the car by putting in a new steering wheel, but that didn't work. At the end of the race, Lando was 17th and the last to have finished the race. To the dismay of many, the team was happy with how the race was, and the team principal, Andrea Stella, said that the team was positively surprised by the pace and that they had expected it to be worse. The team reckoned that without the challenges they faced, it was possible that they would have taken some points home. Norris wasn't that confident with the pace of his car, as he described it as okay-ish. And his only positive comment from that weekend was the mechanics getting to practice for pit stops. Maybe if they continue like that, then they'll beat the 1.83-second record hold by the Red Bull team. Before the season started, the team principal admitted that the team wouldn't be bringing the intended competitive car this year. Rather, a very basic version of the MCL 60 would be heading the tracks. In other words, they had failed to develop a fast car. They attributed this to being caught out by a new regulation that was introduced last year regarding the car floors, which would now be raised by 15 millimeters to help with the porpoising phenomenon that many of the teams faced and were struggling to deal with. During preseason testing, this was confirmed to be the case, as the team's performance was just horrible and far off the pace from other teams. It was evident that the team would struggle a lot as the season progressed, and this wasn't sitting well with Norris, who, despite sharing a positive review of the testing, couldn't fully hide his frustrations. He was spotted punching a wall in the driver's room after a very disappointing 11th finish on the 3rd day of testing. In Saudi Arabia as well, the team failed to get any points. Piastri, who had managed to get his car to Q3 in qualifying, started 8th but finished the race 15th after crashing with Pierre Gasly. Lando qualified 19th after clipping the wall in the last corner and finishing 17th. After the race, he said that the team was at its worst. The high drag on the MCL 60 made driving challenging for both drivers, and despite having DRS, Norris was unable to pass a Williams car. In Australia, the team had a stroke of luck after 8 cars retired from the race, and the team managed to bag 12 points, getting them to the 5th position that they're in. After the race, Lando confirmed that the biggest problem that the team was facing is a lack of straight-line speed, and the DRS system isn't as efficient as the rest of the teams. He said that it was even better to not have the DRS open. Clearly, things are not good at McLaren. The team has been on a downward trajectory, one that the former team principal Andreas Seidel may have, seen and chosen to walk away from. Seidel resigned at the end of last season because he wanted a challenging experience. He's now the team principal of Sauber, which has partnered with Audi, who will join the grid in 2026. His exit speaks volumes about how far off the team is in terms of development, and if there's any progress with the working outfit, it is slow. Things needed to change, especially after the team acknowledged that they made mistakes and had a big setback coming into the season. I mean, there are 9 other teams that had to adjust to the new regulations this year, but only McLaren was hugely affected. A few weeks ago into the season, the team announced that they would be letting go of their technical director, James Key, and they were discarding their leadership model of 1 technical director. A new model with 3 specialized technical director roles has been introduced, and all the directors will be reporting directly to the team principal, Andrea Stella. With this change, David Sanchez from Ferrari will be the director of car concept and performance. Peter Podramu has been promoted to technical director of aerodynamics, and Neil Holdy has been with McLaren since 2006, is going to take up the role of technical director of engineering and design. This change has been in the works for several months and has been a massive step forward for the team. Also, Stella revealed that the team has updates planned in 3 stages, with the first one being in Baku. While this is good news for the team and hopeful fans, Stella has warned that the upgrade in Baku will not make a big difference in terms of increasing the team's performance. With all these difficulties, it therefore comes as no surprise that there are rumors that Lando could be leaving the team. All that team has done is make promises that they'll make Lando a championship-winning car, but have failed to do so. And every season it seems to get worse. Lando had earlier stated that he would be patient and wait for the team to get to a point where they were capable of winning, but a man can only have so much patience, right? He said it himself. He's not usually a patient man, and therefore it would be impossible to imagine that he'd want to be with a different team. However, CEO Zach Brown has refuted such claims, stating that Lando is happy with the team and he's not going anywhere. Here's what he said. He has 0 exit clauses. He has a contract with us, and most importantly, he's very happy here. And he sees the progress that we're making, and he's a team player. So even contracts aside, it's about that he's in a happy environment. He's along for the journey, and we've got some time to prove to him that we're going to give him a car capable of winning. He went on to add that Lando was free to leave after his contract ended. Right now, it's pretty easy, but if we're sitting here in 2 years' time and his contract is nearing its end, well then it's a different situation if we're not performing, and I would understand him going. I need to get into a winning race car, but right now I think we're all focused on working together to get to that car. So I think it's too early to be worried about anything other than having a good weekend. Lando has been working with McLaren since his Formula 1 debut in 2019 and has been able to extract his most performance from the cars that the team has given him. Last year he decided to extend his stay at McLaren and signed a 3-year deal with the team, starting this year and lasting until 2025. And I would understand why he did that. He believed that they could provide him with a car that could win races, but that's not happened yet. Lando has cleared the air and said that he's not going anywhere and he's confident in his team. Here's what he said. I can't really look elsewhere. That doesn't change. Any driver on the grid wants to have confidence in the team. I don't think anything necessarily changes my motivation. One big driver is that I'm very critical of my own performances every weekend. When I've done a shit job, I'll say I've done a shit job. I'm motivated every single weekend to do the best job that I can. I don't need the team or the future to necessarily do that for me. But it's a big confidence booster when you know that you have things to look forward to, when you have people in place or whatever. Lando's a brilliant driver, with many seeing him as a future world champion. And the team is yet to make him a car that will win races, but for now, the Briton's going to stay at McLaren. Do you think he's making the right choice to stick to the team? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to the video. And goodbye for now.